Peace, love, and blessings. It's your boy Big Truck. One thing I love to do, and I enjoy doing this every day, all day, is sitting back, looking into people, listening to people talk, body language, facial micros, the whole nine. It teaches you how to study people, not because I have law enforcement training. It's another form of psychology when you can just sit back and you see how a person moves. You can say something and you can observe how a person responds. A person can respond in a good way or a bad way, or when a person gets triggered by something someone says. You want to know what I'm talking about? Peep this shit out.
But she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. That would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place.
Every time you open up your mouth, you give away your ignorance.
That impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about some bombshell news from the Trump campaign as they are making moves, okay? The Trump campaign is upping the ante by hiring some heavy hitters to help advise President Trump on how to defeat Kamala Harris, okay? News came out that Trump had hired Corey Lewandowski, who helped the Trump campaign back in 2016. Back in the prime days, right? The good old days, okay? The 2016 campaign. He had helped out with that. Trump had hired him back as an advisor for the team. And now we have some more bombshell news about the moves that Trump is making, because now he has hired Kamala Harris's worst nightmare to help him out with debate prep, okay? As there likely will probably only be one debate, September 10th, on ABC, and I want to talk about that because I think that this is a sign that the Trump team knows that they'll probably only get one crack at Kamala Harris, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that, well, Kamala is essentially running away from multiple debates.
Okay. My take would be where she is now, she has more fuel now because of Kamala Harris. Because of her work ethics, she has a lot of fuel. She has a lot to go on. She has a lot to bring to the table. What do you mean by bring to the table? Look at the policies. Look at what you are not doing the whole time that you were in office. Okay? You have access to approve certain policies, which you chose not to, if that makes sense. And it can be any policy. That's what I'm saying. You have access to approve any policy you want, but you chose not to. Also, we've noticed how when you got the role of the vice president, they made sure they kept Kamala Harris out of the loop. You notice that? You never really seen her. You never really heard from her. And when you did see and hear from her, it was very short.
I just want to play this clip of you on stage with Kamala Harris from, I guess it's 4 or 5 years ago now, and ask you a very specific question about this exchange. Roll it here.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
I am proud of that work, and I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work.
You dumb asshole.
What work did you do? What work did you do? Yeah, you did do some work, all right. Putting innocent men in jail, black men at that. You don't give a damn about the black race. You've shown that. You want to be black when it benefits you.
2019, you gave an interview to the AP saying all you had to do was Google that information.
Yeah.
And that you were surprised that her comeback was not more effective. What do you mean by that?
Well, she really didn't have a comeback. I think she revealed in that debate the same thing that I think her campaign handlers are worried about right now is, Kamala Harris is an empty suit. They are trying to create this new version of Kamala Harris to match what their pollsters are telling them so she can say whatever she needs to say to try to win over voters, which is the most offensive thing, I think, because they think we're so stupid as to forget what her record actually is. And so, in 2019, very simply, I confronted her with her hypocrisy, how what she said was very different than what she actually did. And she had no answer for it. She had no explanation. She didn't even try to own or justify what her actions were. And that's going to be the key thing here for voters.
Every time you open up your mouth, you give away your ignorance.
When you bring the truth about what someone has done and you throw it in their face, there ain't shit they can say. Oh, yeah, they triggered. Yes, they're mad. Yes, they're angry and all of that. But they're going to be quiet because they know what they did was wrong. But the fact that you have exposed what that person did was wrong. That's the thing that's fucked up right there.
Kamala Harris will say whatever she thinks she needs to say. We have to pay attention to her actions because on every single major issue, you will see that same kind of hypocrisy that I pointed out in 2019, where she'll say one thing, but her record tells a very, very different story.
Well, yeah, and I think that is where Tulsi is going to help the most. Okay, obviously, Trump is not going to be attacking Kamala from the left, at least not on that issue. But where Tulsi comes in is that Tulsi, again, understands how to make the case against Kamala Harris in a way that is effective. So I don't think it matters which angle, Tulsi will be coming at Kamala. I think that Tulsi just knows how to expose somebody like Kamala. So I'm hoping that this can translate into criticizing Kamala or exposing Kamala from...
I agree. And the thing of it is, that's the best tactic to use. Truth, reality. There's no lie. There's no make-believe. There's no nothing in them guidelines. It's facts. See, Trump is a businessman. And Trump is very strategic on how he moves. Trump can be very dangerous when put in a position. What do I mean by dangerous? He's logic. He strategizes. He plans it. He don't come from a place of emotions. He comes from a place of logic. Number two, maybe their feathers need to be roughed up a little bit.
Got 3.5 weeks to straighten it out because that's when the debate is on September 10th. Here's another issue that you're talking about here, Axios. When she was running for president in 2019, she was for decriminalizing illegal border crossings. No more, she has backed off. And that's just one of the issues now, okay? And here is Harris in her own words on border policies.
I'm not in favor of decriminalizing or not having consequence for. We have to keep. Let me just be very clear. We have to have a secure border, but I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminal. We've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing, and we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
I want to know, when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one.
You dumb asshole known as you.
You need to do a 180 on all of this now, Tulsi. And the only way you can effectively do it is if you have the media in your back pocket.
Which she does. She has the mainstream propaganda media helping her, collaborating with her. Frankly, they should be reported for these in-kind contributions they are making to her campaign. Because
when you know what's going on the inside, you're going to move a certain way.
time you open up your mouth, you give away your ignorance.
I know how things go on the inside. I know how you're chosen. Okay? I know how you're not chosen. I know how you are put in position to do a specific thing. And if you don't do a specific thing, the handlers will come talk to you. So it's deeper than the deep blue sea on this. You just got to have enough knowledge and use wisdom and know how to move accordingly and strategically. Until then, go be the best version of yourself for me to see. It's your boy Big Truck. You already know